See me? This is me keeping to my New Year's resolution. I said I wanted to do more anime and TV shows. And since I'm pretty out of the loop at this point as to what animes are popular or good in terms of modern, I took on some suggestions from my sisters and cousins on some newer anime that are possibly lesser known and are also fairly short and possibly underrated. So I decided to tackle the show Goblin Slayer in its first season. And that definitely ended up being a very interesting decision. The show primarily revolves around the two characters Goblin Slayer and Priestess, and yes, that's their names as well as the names of every other character in the show. Everybody is named after fantasy character archetypes. Goblin Slayer and Priestess are two of many adventurers within this fantasy world who seek out guilds in order to complete contracts and bounties in order to earn gold and glory. In the show's first episode, and definitely what becomes a theme throughout its next 11, is the dichotomy between the carefree, happy-go-lucky lifestyle within the human settlements, and the savage and quite brutal nature of the quests that many of the adventurers partake in, more in particular the savageness of the titular goblins of the show. This show goes quite a bit more hardcore than I was expecting. Humans and many goblins in the show die in pretty horrific ways. Additionally, in classic anime form, there are massive gunzangas galore, as well as a couple surprising depictions of rape. Thankfully though, to balance out the terrible rape, the show balances it out by having its main character be a horrible, horrible goblin racist. What a wonderful world this show takes place in. I would say for me at least, the most interesting aspect of the show is just kind of seeing how Goblin Slayer kills and dismantles goblins with such extreme hate. It feels like in every episode he finds a new way to do it. He's basically a Mythbuster or a MacGyver when it comes to goblin slaying. Okay, so let's get into final thoughts and ask whether or not this is the kind of anime I would recommend to other people to watch. As for the show's first season, I didn't hate it, but I also didn't love it. I feel like I'm about as in the middle as one can be when looking at a season of a show. Episodes 1, 11, and 12 were by far my favorite, and another, I guess, kind of positive for some, is by the end of this first season, the show really hasn't answered any of the big major questions, at least I felt like I had. So you could look at that as either a waste of time or more incentive to keep watching into the next season. What I mean by all that is the show, for me at least, very clearly indicates there's something happening, but again, it never says that that isn't the case, so for all I know, the show could be genuine and what's happening is happening. I don't know. So once again, for me, I do think there is incentive to check out Season 2, whenever that does come out. There are some interesting questions I would like to see answered, but once again, if I get to Season 2 and it keeps going the direction it's going in, and the show kind of stays the same, there's a good chance I might drop off. To counter that point though, I'll also say there are a couple characters in the show that can be pretty endearing, so I could also very easily see that maybe being a reason to bring somebody back. So there you go, a very hot and cold recommendation from me. What do you guys think of my review? Was I able to get you to watch the show, or did I turn you totally off from it? And also, if you've already watched the anime, what did you think of the video? I'd love to hear back. And as always guys, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. I love you, please be safe, and I can't wait to deliver you guys another video on the next EnteR ChazmaN. Bye now. Hey now, I see you made it through the video and liked or even possibly loved it. Well, if you want to see any more additional content or you'd like to get into contact with me, consider checking out some of my social medias right here. And if you'd like to go above and beyond and want to support my channel monetarily, here is also a couple places where you can do so. And if nothing else, simply liking, sharing, and subscribing would make me the happiest ChazmaN on the planet.